Hello, friends. Today we'll be talking about things which are happening in the economy currently. So, whenever largely our computer gets hanged or there is some kind of virus in our computer, the first thing that we do is reboot our computer. So, generally, we go and press those three important keys, which is Control, Alt, and Delete. When we do that, the computer actually comes to a standstill, it stops, it becomes blank, then it cleans itself, and then again it revives back. We think our economy is going through one such phase right now when Indian economy, where there were lots of viruses, and we'll talk about each one of them at a later time. The main thing which has happened is we are now in the process of cleanup. So we are rebooting our country, we are rebooting India itself, and for that this entire thing of demonetization as one of the big moves has been taken from the government side. So let's understand that in great detail. Historically, whenever we talk about India as a past, there have been three times when actually this rebooting process has happened. The first had been on 15th of August 1947, and we all call it as our Independence Day. That is when India moved itself from being under the regime of Britishers to being an independent sovereign. The second such big rebooting happened somewhere in June of 1991 when we moved away from being called as a mixed economy or an economy in which government was playing a big role to opening up the entire economy for the private sector. And the third thing of rebooting, I think, is happening from May of 2014 when we are actually taking attempts to clean our economy, to clean our entire process. So I'll touch upon those viruses which I think have hit our economy. The first such big virus which has been the main culprit of growth of India has been that of corruption. When we talk about demonetization, almost about 84% of total currency was overnight out of circulation. Economy came on a standstill, but the fallout of entire thing which will happen over subsequent period of time will be that money which was getting absorbed in other asset classes like gold and real estate and was going completely unaccounted for will get diverted into equity as an asset class. So we think that in calendar of 2017, one major shift will be shift of money from gold and real estate into equity as an asset class. The entire fallout of this issue of demonetization, that will be one major thing which will happen in the cleanup process of this virus. There have been other viruses also in this country, and the big virus other was virus of identification. Right now in this country, 93% of adults have their Aadhaar card. There is an identity which has been assigned to each and every adult major in this country. There is also attempt to digitalize big form of the country wherein transactions which are just going unnoticed will be identified, will be traced, will be tracked, and that will help to improve the tax collection from the government's part. At the same time, where the subsidy was going unnoticed and subsidies were getting transferred in the wrong hands, now because of this entire virus eradication of identification, subsidies will be directly targeted to the needy people. So that's one big thing of cleaning up of the virus of identification. The third virus which was there was multiple levels of taxation in our country. We are sure that GST will be rolled out in 2017, and when GST gets rolled out, then it will culminate 13 different forms of taxation into one such form of GST. So that will help smoothen the business environment, and that will help improve the entire economic system of our country, because again things in GST will not get unnoticed. They will be tracked, they will be monitored, and they will be effectively controlled by the government. One more virus which was there was of complete opaqueness. So whenever there were big auctions which were happening, government and people were clueless as to how that would bring in about transparency. Recently, when we are seeing auctions happen online, whether in terms of coal or telecom, it is eradicating the virus of opaqueness and bringing in transparency into the economy. Another thing which is happening is that in India, infrastructure was growing at a very, very slow pace. Now with governments getting filled in, kitties getting filled in, lot of focus in the new year is going to be on the infrastructure of railways, on infrastructure of building roads, infrastructure on power improvement. So all the three ministers, they've already delivered in the past, and now they will have also money backing to do better things in this particular year. Another regime which has been of high interest rates. Now that was a major virus which was preventing the business from getting into the capex mode. In this year, because banks are now going to be flush with liquidity, people are not going to withdraw the entire amount which they have deposited in their bank. Bank will have lot of wherewithal to lend money to the people, and we will see interest rates softening in this year. So that's one more virus which is being tackled of high interest rate by this government because of this demonetization. We also believe that there are a couple of other points which are still left out, and they will be tackled in times to come. There are still viruses of labor, and there are still viruses in terms of the land reforms. So land reforms and labor are the two pending issues we think the government is going to tackle in times to come. Having stated all this and to summarize this entire thing, we think the government is making attempts to clear out the system, to clear out the problem areas, to eradicate those viruses of corruption, of higher interest rates, etc. All this will increase the GDP, all this will increase the per capita income, and we'll see better times. Thank you very much for the listening.